Good. Excellent. And for the record, Stephen, maybe if you can let me know your name and your role there, as a kind of starting point.
Yeah, sure. My name's Steve Wells, and I'm one of the hotel directors of Luccombe Hotels on the Isle of Wight.
Fantastic. Thanks, Stephen. And thanks for taking the time to chat. So we'll tell us a little bit about why have you started on this kind of sustainability journey? What's kind of been the inspiration, if you like?
Okay. Well, the inspiration really is the environment.
Okay.
Really, that's where it's based at. So we have two excellent assets at our disposal. The first one is our team of staff. We have exceptionally low staff turnover. We employ 45 people in hospitality, traditionally very high staff turnover, especially on the Isle of Wight being seasonal. We go against the norm on that. So we have, I think we've had a staff turnover in the last 2 years of about 4 members of staff.
Okay.
So it's exceptionally low. So that's the first thing, is our first asset really is our team of guys and girls working for us. The second thing is our location, and that is critical to our business. We're right on the cliff top at Shanklin. We've got 4 acres of stunning gardens right overlooking Sandown Bay at the Shanklin end, and we're surrounded by beautiful countryside, beaches directly below us, stunning cliff views, and it's vitally important that that environment is invested in and maintained to a very high standard, whether it's our own gardens or whether it's the surrounds around us or whether it's the beach below.
Right.
The Isle of Wight is known as the Garden Isle. It's an area of outstanding natural beauty, special scientific interest, and it's important we look after it. And I think one of the things that we want to do is make sure that we are not harming our environment by trading. As a business, we should be able to not just not harm our environment, but we should be able to enhance it. So we're looking at doing things which can facilitate that, and one of those is obviously trying to work our way towards carbon net zero. Environment being one of the factors of taking on that role. And the second thing is from a marketing point of view. I don't believe there's another hotel on the Isle of Wight which is net zero, and where we are rated the sort of #1 hotel on the island, award-winning, then from the Chamber of Commerce and the Isle of Wight Awards each year, the last couple of years, I think we can lead with showing that that is what you can do. You can provide an exceptionally high quality of service, and you don't have to compromise, and you can do it sustainably.
Right.
I think that's a really important message to give to other accommodation providers and hospitality providers on the island. And I'd like to be the business that shows that can be done, and can be done very successfully. And I do feel that if we're able to achieve carbon net zero in a short amount of time, that's going to be a great thing. And it also would, a knock-on effect of that is it will work well as a marketing tool for us as well.
Yeah, brilliant. That's fantastic. And Stephen, have you kind of seen any business benefits from the work you've done so far with us? What benefits have you received?
At the moment, no, but that's out of choice. So on the island, they have a sustainable sort of tourism scheme. There's certain criteria. I think there's 11 criteria you need to meet to do that. And we're at the stage where we do meet them all, but I'm not prepared to actually apply for it just yet. There's a couple of things we want to put into place, which we haven't quite finalised. We sort of dipped our toes into a couple of the areas, and we just need to finalise those. But being the height of the summer, it's quite difficult to pull ourselves away from servicing the existing guests to spend some time on doing that. But we're hoping to do that in the next month, and apply for that accreditation, which should give us the gold standard in that area. It also will then enable us to the local bus service, Southern Vectis, which covers the whole of the island. They offer rover tickets on a £1 basis, so you can get a rover ticket for just £1 for your customers. If you reach the gold standard. So we're going to make sure we do that shortly. And then we can offer public transport on the bus service to all our customers completely free. We're not going to charge them for it. We'll just carry the cost of that ourselves because it's negligible. So yeah, I think sustainable tourism is definitely something that is important for the island. There are a couple of other places which have worked towards that. There's some eco lodges over the West Wight, the more countryside, undeveloped side of the Isle of Wight, which promote sort of eco camping and eco lodges, things like wood-fired hot tubs and things like that. But you know, you don't really get the same sort of luxury as what you do in a high quality hotel.
Yeah.
So you know, I think that that's definitely the way to go. And the other thing is that we do work with the agencies. I noticed a while ago on Booking.com they started appearing the little green leaves underneath the hotel names, and I started looking into that, and then found that the sort of sustainable accreditation that they are offering, there was a little bit of greenwashing going on, shall we say? Because you could literally just fill out a little form saying you're doing everything and then get it. Whereas when I spoke to our Booking.com rep about it, we sort of came to the conclusion that that needed to change, and it is. So they are now only allowing people to have the sustainable sort of rankings if you can prove it. So it's even more important that we go down the route of working with you guys at Beyond Procurement to attain that accreditation.
Yeah, definitely. Actually, out of interest, Stephen, why did you choose Beyond Procurement? What was it that kind of?
Sheerly coincidence, but I'm very pleased that we did. So we attended the Isle of Wight Tourism Conference, which was held by Visit Isle of Wight, which is the DMO over here. And that was held in February this year at the Dean Theatre. We attended there, and they had a small sort of display area where there was a few people with display stands, and one of those was Beyond Procurement. And I had a lovely chat with them, with the guys, and it was at an appropriate time. One of the things that was discussed at that tourism conference was Visit Britain's initiatives for sustainable tourism. So it was, you know, you sit there in the lectures, etc., talking about that sort of thing, and then you go out to have your lunch and a little buffet, and there you guys are with your little stall.
Yeah.
It was a case of right place, right time. And you know, we decided that we were going to work with you guys, and you know, certainly try and achieve our net zero goals that we want to.
Good. And what has the experience been like so far working with Beyond Procurement?
Very good, very efficient company, very straightforward, no bullshit, for want of a better description. Gonna keep it nice and simple. It, you know, that's what it says on the tin.
Right.
So no, everybody we've dealt with has been brilliant, even down to, so for example, one of the things we're looking at was solar energy, because we've got quite a few flat roof areas, large roof areas on the hotels, etc. Unfortunately, our actual location is that our size of our buildings does not quite fit the criteria. But I was having a chat with Josh the other week. They've done a survey using Google Earth, so they've obviously committed some time into doing that for us, and come back to the conclusion that if we'd been on the mainland, they probably would have taken us on as a customer to look at installing and costing up and installing, you know, solar energy here on site. However, because we're on the Isle of Wight and because we're very much small scale compared to what they usually deal with, it's just not worth their time and effort to do it, and I can fully understand that. So they have, however, pointed me in the right direction of who I can speak to get survey and quotes done, and they've also said that any quotes I get done, send through to them, and they will go through and make sure that I'm not being taken for a ride, shall we say.
Nice.
So, and all of that is completely free of charge. So, you know, it's not often that other businesses are willing to help you out in that regard. You know, you don't get a decorator in to give you a quote for decorating your business, and then you know, it says to you, actually, it's a bit too big for me, but if you get another quote, let me know, and I'll make sure they're not pulling your leg. So so that's the kind of level of service you get from Beyond Procurement. It's definitely better than your standard company we deal with. If only all suppliers were as efficient and as nice to deal with as BP.
Good. Oh, that's music to my ears. Fantastic. And hey,
that's great.
Good. And Stephen, have you seen any benefits in terms of savings or anything so far?
No.
Early days, perhaps.
Not as yet. Okay. So I mean, we were quite lucky in that, for example, our gas and electricity, we had on contracts for 3 years just before it all went sky high. So we've
Right.
been benefiting for quite some considerable period with lower prices than what it would be if we'd taken out only a year's contract and then had to renew it 2 years ago. So a couple of those contracts I've just set up. I have had quotes from Max at BP. However, the local broker that we use, who is a personal friend of mine, I've known him a lot longer than he had that business. He's always normally able to offer us rates that just simply cannot be beaten. I think because of that special relationship we have, and he's. I was very careful not to disclose Max's rates to Fortis Energy,
Right.
and vice versa. I just asked them for the best rates on a particular day. They both had our usage, so it was all done fairly, and it was exceptionally close. So what I would say is, if we hadn't have been using Fortis already,
Yeah.
and I've had that arrangement with Matthew Rice there for 20 years,
Wow.
I doubt very much that that we would have beaten Max's rates. So the accounts would have been, the contracts would have been in place with Max through BP. So I can thoroughly recommend Max, and I've said to him, I will continue every time a contract comes up, just to do the same process, get you to quote, get them to quote, and whatever it is, what it is.
No, it's nice. No, in a way, that's really good,
Yeah.
good news, isn't it? That you've got, it's good for you because you know that you're getting Fortis are doing a good job for you.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things Max was able to do for us was our local, so Fortis Energy don't deal with water.
Okay.
They don't get involved in that at all. You know, I spoke to them. They've explained the margins are too small. Really, they want to concentrate on the larger gas electric accounts because they're only a smallish business as a broker. And so I spoke to Max regarding that. He was able to provide us with some really good quotes from water to business, which actually gave us. So I tell a lie earlier. We have had some savings. We were a business stream originally, and we've now moved over to fully net zero water supply and wastewater through water to business, and it is a small saving, only a smallish amount, but it is a saving. But the most important thing is it's a saving that's come with that sustainability.
Yeah. Awesome.
You know, so we've been able to do that without having to invest. We've actually saved a little bit of money. I think it's about £1,500 over a couple of years contract. So it's a smallish saving in regards to what we spend, but it's a saving all the same.
Yeah, definitely. That's great. Yeah, you got a saving and you've moved closer towards net zero.
Exactly. So to be saving anything and moving towards net zero is a real bonus.
Yeah, fantastic. That's what we want to hear. No, that's really good, Stephen. Anything else, any other kind of feedback you think might be useful for us to know in terms of helping us to improve?
I don't think so. Other than, can you give me some training on how to use Zoom better? We're so backwards here on the Isle of Wight. We hardly ever have Zoom meetings.
You seem to be doing pretty well to me.
I don't know. I'm lucky if I can get the microphone to work. And I notice you've got a lovely sort of blurred out background, and I've got who pays all the bills sat behind me. And the occasional phone ringing of customers phoning up and wanting to book holidays because I'm sat in the booking office. And just over here is my sister Claire, who's my fellow director.
Oh, lovely. Hello, Claire.
Yeah, she'll be questioning me probably in a moment about everything we've been talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. What did you say?
What did you say? Have you committed to anything again, Steve?
No, I love it because it's kind of real world environment. So
yes, Claire likes to keep an eye on the purse strings. So she usually, as soon as I've had any Zoom meetings or met with customers, it's usually a case of like, okay, what have you just said we're going to spend?
Fantastic. No, really, really good.
But no, Claire seems very. Are you happy, Claire, with our trip to net zero?
Yes, I am. Yes.
Claire's fully committed as well.
Fantastic. Good. Yeah, no, brilliant. And I think my experience, Stephen, talking to lots of businesses, is that absolutely, it's consumers are, more and more starting to think, okay, if I've got a choice between A and B hotel or A and B car, and one's slightly more sustainable than the other, I'm going to go for that one. If I think the conclusion is that if the price is the same, more or less, people will choose the more sustainable option.
Exactly. And one of the things that came to light at that tourism conference was that Neil, who's the managing director of Hover Travel, which is the passenger-only hovercraft that travels from Southsea, Portsmouth, to ride on the island. He gave a small short talk, and one thing that stood out was they'd done some research with a with a group of students, university students from one of the London universities, and in the 25 to 34-year-old age group, 67% of people in that age group in the survey said that they took sustainability into account when choosing their accommodation when they're having a staycation in the UK.
Wow.
That is, to us, that's our next market. You know, in 10 years' time, those are the guys and girls that will be having young families and coming and spending lots of money with us.
Yeah.
So, you know, if that's an important factor now, it's only going to increase. I can't see that decreasing.
No,
So we want to make sure that we're not missing the boat, and in fact, we're driving the train or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, and encouraging that. There was shame the Isle of Wight Council dropped it prior to COVID, but there was a period when the Isle of Wight Council were really pushing for the Isle of Wight to be fully sustainable.
Yeah.
I think the whole sort of overarching project was called Eco Island.
I remember.
Yeah, and it seems to have all gone very quiet, which is a bit of a shame, really, because
there was a bit of controversy, wasn't there, Stephen? Wasn't the guy running it kind of a bit?
I don't quite know the ins and outs of it, but it's a shame that something like that isn't brought back. But if there was any controversy, obviously it needs to be brought back without the controversy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a shame because the Isle of Wight is a stunning location. As I said, it's an area of outstanding natural beauty. It's a site. Most of the Isle of Wight is a site of special scientific interest. And as we found out the other week, I've got the details here. We are one of, is it 6 or 8 biospheres in the country?
Wow.
Designated,
something like that.
yeah, we've designated a UNESCO biosphere.
Really? Wow.
Something like that. I can't remember exactly what the wording was.
Okay.
Distracted by the cooked breakfast.
Yeah, we got distracted. It was a networking event and there was a lovely cooked breakfast. So yeah, that kind of distracted us from what we were looking at. I'm a sucker for some bacon.
Oh, terrible.
Yeah, so the Isle of Wight is unofficially, well, more officially, it's kind of known as the Garden Isle. That's how Visit Isle of Wight tend to market it.
Right.
So, you know, that all points towards environment, doesn't it? And if you know, the last thing we want is you know, beaches with rubbish on and, you know, nice hedgerows down the country lanes with litter and you know, the areas that we have
people are starting to make more sustainable options. They're also going to start to look at staying in the UK rather than flying off somewhere.
Yep, indeed. And it's not just about offsetting. You know, it's so easy to offset your carbon emissions.
Yeah.
But that is the completely lazy way out of it.
Absolutely right.
I think our initial carbon footprint came out something like 253 tons a year.
Yeah.
You can offset that for about £7 a ton. So, you know, it'd be quite easy for me to have just gone online, found a company that's willing to do carbon offsetting. I'm sure they're out there. Without even Googling it, I know there would be. And pay £1,771 and then wave a flag saying I'm green.
Yeah.
I'm still putting out the same emissions I was before. I've still got my utilities using, you know, fossil fuels. Still got our works van chugging out diesel fumes, which I've just ordered a brand new VW ID Buzz.
Nice. Have you?
Awesome. Yeah, it's our work van. So the old diesel. The funny thing is that our head of maintenance, which happens to live the furthest away of all our staff, and he has the works van, which is a 20-year-old black smoky old diesel. So yeah, we thought, well, one way of improving the sort of carbon footprint of staff commuting is to immediately get rid of that. So yeah, I've just ordered him a brand new VWRD Buzz Cargo. I showed him a picture of it the other day because it's here in about 2 weeks, and he was over the moon.
Oh, they're beautiful.
Yeah, the only thing is all the other maintenance guys are now saying, well, where are our vans? I'm like, no, you don't get vans. Only the head of maintenance gets a van. We're only a small business. We can't afford for all our staff to have vehicles.
Wow.
So yeah.
No, brilliant.
Yeah, I think it's really important that we are sustainable to protect that environment, and you know, I think it's going to be a good marketing.
I think you're right, and starting now, making these small changes, you know, with hopefully not too much investment, means that, you know, you'll be ahead of the curve, and it will be much more expensive for those who start later. you know.
Yes, indeed. I mean, to make the changes are very small. So we moved our gas and electric over, as I was saying earlier, and yeah, they are very slightly higher than the rates which we could have got using fossil fuels.
Right.
But going 100% green on the gas and electric, I see that as being an investment in this overall package of trying to reach carbon net zero, and the benefits overall from that are going to certainly outweigh the small additional cost.
Yeah.
Plus, on top of that, by luck, as I said earlier, we had those accounts, those contracts up for 3 years, so we've benefited for at least 2.5 years of having a lot lower rates to pay than most people did. So that's created huge savings there. So I'm quite happy to pay a little bit more now because I've saved a hell of a lot over the last 2.5 years. We've been paying something like 12, 14 pence a unit for electric for like 3 years. At one point I was looking at the accounts, the contracts, and it was 50, 60p a unit. We could have seen our electric bill quadruple.
Oh my God.
So we've made some big savings there by having those contracts over a longer period when I set them up 3 years ago now. And as I said, we've just changed those over. So I think 1st of September, the first one changes over and the other one is October. And then by January, all 3 businesses, so that's the 2 hotels and the self-catering apartments, will have 100% renewable services.
Awesome. Awesome.
So yeah, that's good.
Very good.
Yeah.
Great. Hey, Stephen, I don't want to take up any more of your time because I know this is a busy season for you. We're half an hour in, which is what I think I booked this for.
No worries, Brian.
So hey, thank you so much. You've definitely given me some great nuggets. So you'll be hearing from me in about, I don't know, a week or something. I'm gonna do a little bit of editing, and I'm gonna create some material out of this. And I'll share this, of course, with Crispin and Drew and with Max, the feedback as well. But yeah,
no problem.
Thanks for your time. Thanks for being on this journey. And I wish you luck in all the kind of all the changes you're making.
Yeah, it's exciting. I can't wait to be promoting not just us but tourism on the island as sustainable.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's a really important message to get out there, not only to the public but also to the industry over here.
Definitely.
It's traditionally the Isle of Wight has been quite slow to react to things. It's still running coach holidays over here and school trips and things like that, which traditional bucket and spade, but that's what makes it quite a quirky place, and it's not all about that at all. There's some very special independent sort of accommodation offerings which are world class, and I think if we can promote the whole of the island as sustainable, but we can't do that until we're doing it ourselves.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So
Everybody's got to get there
we're going to get there as quickly as we can.
Yeah, awesome.
Thank you, Brian. Have a good day.
You too. Take care. Cheers.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye.